feel we should start with a quick introduction for both of us. Hi, I'm Jyotiraditya Thakur.
And I'm Krishbir.
A lot of people call us the Bhag Boys, but yeah, we are daytime athletes and a few
Nighttime athletes.
We're just day entrepreneurs, I would say. But yeah, it's our first TED Talk ever, and super pumped up to speak about a few topics. I mean, I think a lot of you young folks would correlate. Both of us have graduated from Delhi University, same North Campus.
Yeah. I'll be very honest with you, it was my brother's wedding over the weekend, so we aren't really prepared, and we didn't want to be also. I feel like TED is more about your personal experience, what you've done, what you've learned, sort of situation, and I feel like we're not, in lives at a stage where I just come and give gyan, so I'm just gonna share the experiences that we've had and what we've learned through them.
Yeah, I mean, we are of course, we have done, I feel, quite good for ourselves, but it's not something like that I can come here and guide you and tell you that, hey, this is the way it's done in life. But of course, coming here for us is to speak about communities, how the word community specifically has so much depth of its own. And secondly, of course, we would, in the second later part, really love to speak about our experiences as students up here in Delhi University.
I want to know who's ever been to Bhag. Please raise your hand. No one here has been to Bhag. One guy.
Two people.
Okay.
All right.
And the rest of you, do you know about Bhag or do you not know about Bhag at all? A little. Okay. So I will tell you what Bhag is. Bhag is not just a run club. What I think Bhag is the inception of the wellness culture in India. If there's a circle of wellness, we're right in the middle for the people who are young. Not like marathon's average age is about 35, 40 years old. But for the people who are younger, who are in their 20s, early 20s, late 20s, whatever, we are in the middle. What we've done or what we've tried to do is make fitness fun, cool, pop for the people, and also a place which is not looked at as okay, मेरे को जाके workout करना है, but a place where, oh my God, I'm so excited on weekend to wake up at 6 a.m. Who's in the crowd ever woken up at 6 a.m. and been like, wow, I love this? Anyone? The people who've been to Bhag, yes. The rest of you, what for? Someone else tell me, what for?
See,
again, wellness. Any sort of activity where you're movement, we'll call it wellness, right? I feel like what we are trying to do and make this generation also understand, you don't need to go to clubs, you don't need to drink to socialize or meet people, right? You can do it in healthier environments also. Let's say horse riding, for example. You'll meet other people there. You'll speak to them, you'll make friends, and you'll already have a combined interest, right? Makes it easier to talk to them, understand, make better friends.
So that's what Bhag is about. But coming back to the whole ideology, like we do runs, we're doing various kind of events, and the whole purpose was to connect people together. I mean, we as human beings are, we don't get to choose our friends. Maybe a relative, your neighbor, maybe your classmates, those are your friends you get to be around. You don't get to choose people who have the same likings around you. And it's very hard finding people of the same interest. So again, as she said, hobbies. Maybe she finds similar people who are into horse riding over there and becomes friends with them. So our ideology was always to connect people together, make them friends over a fitness activity. Let's just go back in time when we were graduating from Khalsa College and just
about 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago, and thinking what our usual hangouts would be. They would be.
Yeah, very honestly, I know that most of the people hang out, go to clubs, bars, whatever, every Saturday night. But for us, hangouts would be, okay, college ho gaya, let's go to the gym. Used to live in campus, I used to live in Karol Bagh, and we'd be like, okay, let's do a workout at India Fitness Bangalore. I'm sure a lot of you have been there. And we just love doing that. We'll go to the gym, hit a workout, maybe grab a meal after. That was our standard workout.
And maybe just run on the North Campus. That was one thing that we started our running journey from. Very amateur runners, didn't know anything about running.
I would still say amateur.
Yeah, we're still amateur runners, yeah, when you think about the people who are out there. But again, those were our usual hangouts. So back then we didn't know what we were building, we just were hanging out with our friends. But retrospecting it to when the placement season comes and everybody is in the hustle bustle of getting placed at Deloitte, KPMG,
Other than the two of us.
another
Like,
the two of us.
absolutely no way I'm sitting for any placement. I want to build something of my own. I spoke to my parents, they're like, that's stupid. I'm like, trust, okay? And then we got together and we're like, okay, let's start researching what we want.
Very rebellious of us to make the decision of not sitting for the placements. Though we've been so we were the ones who were not usually at the classes, but always trying to do something around organizing something and just being a part of something around the college.
We also started Khalsa's Fashion Society, by the way.
Yeah.
People had been trying for like 8-9 years. They weren't able to because of XYZ reasons. But we are like, okay, we'll take it upon ourselves and make sure that everything falls into place. And then we went to a lot of people, knocked on a lot of doors, and just got it done somehow.
So I mean, that's how we became friends. But again, coming back to the whole point, what we were going to do in our lives, like we didn't know anything, right? And through this whole process, we were sitting out and figuring it out, watching a lot of YouTube, consume content, reading about trends going around in the consumer markets, and we said, dude, I think we should build a brand for sugar-free candies. Back then, no-to ice creams were growing up.
Ideas still out there.
Ideas
Use
still
it,
out there.
Use it.
We made an MIS, a proper rev sheet, a pitch deck, and went to our parents and we did a few numbers and we said we need 2 crores to start this business, and our parents laughed and they said, masters crores.
Apply for masters.
Apply for masters. You are being, of course, we really keep your effort in regard, but the simple thing was...
Yeah, there's no way you're getting this much money right out of college because, you know, you don't know how the world works right now.
Yeah.
You're in college, you're still in a bubbled environment. You don't have that much experience. You don't understand how shit works in real life. It's very different. And they're like, you apply for masters and do that.
We were very hurt and we were like, our efforts are just gone to like all in vain. But back then I feel like what we did was amazing was we did a travel trip, like a graduation trip to Bali. So again, left everything behind, graduated from college, and we were for 15 days in Bali and doing what? Of course, a little bit of degenerate stuff, partying, of
I would
course.
say like more than a little bit because back then there was no bhag in our lives. We were okay.
Yeah.
We'll do whatever we want when we went with a lot of friends, okay? And they're like, let's go here, let's go here, let's go here. So we did all that.
That we did every day was wake up early in the morning and go for a run. And
Or hit a workout.
Or hit a workout. One random morning we are running on the streets and we see these Australian women, 6'4", jacked, running faster.
Yeah.
And we were like, dude, you are telling me that on a 5 a.m. in Bali, these people are running, I don't know how many kilometers on a beach.
And not just few, like it was a group of like 80, 90 women, just straight running, and they crossed us. We're like, what the hell? I think we're running like decently fast, right?
Yeah.
And then just crossed us and shattered our egos.
So back then, we knew one thing, that if we cannot build a brand, of course we can build an audience. How do we build an audience? We thought that our way of building it would be making content around it. Like, have you seen a lot of like entrepreneurs say, build in public, I'm building in public. Hey guys, I'm starting my journey of building this product from, we thought we'd do something like that.
But also like, it was very calculated, right? We're like, okay, how a business works is you have money, you invest in the business, you build your consumer. What we thought we'll do is reverse it. We'll build the consumer first because to build the consumer without a product, it's very easy. And because we wanted to build in wellness, we're like, okay, how do we get people who have the same interests together? And we came up with the word community, which was missing from the country at that time.
Yeah, at that point nobody was speaking about communities. We told a lot of people, we met a very cool person over there, Anshul Jubli, who's a UFC fighter. We got to meet him, chat with him for 2 hours, and we told him about, we are thinking to start a fitness community back in India.
And then he kind of like,
we had to smile and laugh.
What
It's
the hell
like,
you guys
it's
doing?
impossible to see young generation running back in 2024. Like, no way this generation is doomed to party and have fun. This is not going to happen.
And I feel like he had a point also because, you know, for him to train, he was not able to do that in India, so he had to move to Bali. Because that's the place where wellness is massive, where people are into fitness, whereas India is not a place where you look from the outside. If you're a foreigner, you don't look at India and be like, okay, people here are into health and wellness, right? So he had a fair point from his end, but again, we're just people who love to get shit done.
And I feel like at that point we felt that, okay, once we go back home, we do not have anything else to figure in life, but you know what? We start with a fitness community. We start a running community. We build the India's coolest running community, and we build this narrative shift of getting youth to run.
Making fitness cool was the main thing that we wanted to do back then.
And I feel we just started with QR posters, plastering it all around there.
Literally the day after we came back, we're like, okay, how do we get this done? We went to Aravali Biodiversity with 4 friends. We're like, let's make a video. So we recorded some content and we're like, okay, let's print a lot of QR codes, about like 500-600 of them, and plaster them all over Delhi.
So I feel back then, I'll pick the story up very quickly for you guys of what we did. We just got people to run at a place. How do we make it cool? I mean, we did some moves here and there. I mean, out there, we wanted to make cool content. How do we make it the most buzzful content? We called all of our girlfriends to a single spot.
Because the first run was 8 people.
And nobody wanted to run.
Usme se 7 of them were family and friends, and 1 of them was a random person that scanned a QR code and came. And we recorded content. We're like, okay, this does not look glamorous. It's just dudes
running. We just made a content run where we got everyone to just fake run, and we posted a lot of content and we got people out here. Now we knew that we have created a hype. We are having 1100 people on September 8, 2024 at Nehru Park. The police is there to arrest us, and it's madness. Everybody is running. So we are running just 5 kilometers and everybody comes back and people are playing in the park, and these are...
And we also struggled to run that 5 kilometers back then.
Yeah, we were struggling it back then, I'll be honest with you guys. But we understood with time that of course, this is going to change into something. I mean, there was no money back then in this thing for us. We were just hopeful. He was doing his masters from Pearl Academy. I was sitting for an interview in ISB. And in this whole journey, we thought something's going to happen. This community becomes big. We went to Mumbai, posted the same runs over there.
And no reason to go to Mumbai. We just spent our money. We were like, let's do it. Why not?
Okay. Because everybody's speaking about us back then.
Yeah. And I feel like, there's a saying that you sow the seed, you don't think about the fruit. And that's what we were doing back then. Like, just compounding, doing it every single week. Introduced Gurgaon. Twice a week we were running. 3 times then a week we were running.
But ideally what we did is, I mean, money of course came through and through. We became into a content agency, we are consulting brands. I mean, money is not a byproduct that we want to talk about today. We want to talk about the simple one word, what is community? So I feel we should start with one simple thing. How is the word community bastardized in this entire world? Like, everybody's speaking about community.
Yeah, and no one really, it's a very deep word, okay? Like the word community stands for a lot, and I feel like everyone just looks at the surface, which is, okay, अगर मेरे पास 100 लोग इकट्ठे हैं और कुछ भी कर रहे हैं, we'll call it community. That's not how it works. There's give and take. Community is way stronger than a family also, I would say, because you choose, in a family you're just born. In a community, you choose to step in, you choose to make the sacrifices. Like, okay, if a friend is with me, I want to run faster, I will run slower. Doesn't matter if I'm training, whatever. I'm with the friend. Small sacrifices. If a friend says I have to wake up at 5 a.m. and go for a run, I am going, no matter if I slept late or what. So small sacrifices. It's like very, very deep.
So actually the word is bastardized by a few people who are the brand managers working at big companies, right? A very fun thing would be any influencer, maybe let's say having 500k followers, he would say, guys, I have a community of 500k people. I feel that's nothing.
That's how it works.
That's an audience. You consume, you see, you do not interact. Maybe this morning when I came here, I texted on my family group and I told that I'm going to a TEDx. And my dad said, do this, do that. So that is like, it's a community, it interacts with
back and forth.
There's a back and forth in it, right? It's not an audience. There's an audience, there's an active audience which listens and does what you say, and then there's a community which interacts within itself. The word has been bastardized, like let's say the word depression has been bastardized, I feel like. Everybody says I feel depressed, but clinically, diagnostically, depression is something else. So similarly, the word has been bastardized and everybody is slapping the word community because...
I mean, I'm not going to name any brands, we work with a lot of brands, right? And all of them on calls are like, oh, our community is this big. At the last event, we had these many people. I'm like, have you spoken to anyone after? Have people interacted with each other? They're like, no, but we had these many people. That's not what a community is, right? I'll give you an example of what we think a community is, and I feel like you guys will also understand it. Last year, there's a marathon called the NDA, which happens in February. Right before that, a brand came to us and they're like, let's do something for it. We're like, okay, this is what we're doing. If you want, we can plug you in. And the plan was, over the course of 8 weeks, we'll train XYZ amount of people. Every single week, we hosted about 3 to 4 runs. Because, when you're running a marathon, there's a lot of training that you have to do. So we hosted one on Tuesday, one on Thursday, one on Saturday for 8 weeks straight. Now we trained approximately 1,100 people in that. Like that, I'll say was the engaged audience, 1,100. But in that 1,100, there were about, I think, like 200, 300 people that were there at every single session. Those people are now friends. Those people, like, I will be at home looking at Instagram stories and I will see all of them are hanging out together. Or all of them are running together. Right?
So ideally, what we try to do is, we try to get people towards a single goal. Let's say, let's go very niche. Somebody likes playing, let's say, Sudoku, and you go onto the campus and you start finding people who play Sudoku. I mean, if I'm someone who goes and asks people, they'll say, what a mad guy, he's trying to find people, right? But imagine you find 10 more people who like the same thing, you guys are nerd about it, you speak and talk about it, and suddenly you are hosting sessions about it. Maybe it could be chess, maybe it could be anything. So what college societies are, right? I mean, again, I would say college societies are also bastardized because everybody wants to become a president in the society, everybody wants to become a vice
politics.
So what we ideally feel like, it needs to be organic. Everybody needs to come in and speak about it and get the best out of it.
There's a thing, right? Our generation is the most digitally connected generation, but in actuality, it is the most lonely and disconnected.
That's what we felt. We saw so many people of different genres, different backgrounds coming to Bhag and speaking about loneliness. And that loneliness was real. We actually saw people dating, starting businesses, finding job opportunities through Bhag. And it's just a run. So actually, that's what a community becomes with time. Now, one other thing that really excites communities is how we are able to sustain for 2 years and happily growing across Bangalore, Mumbai, Chandigarh, Jaipur is cross-pollination. We want to speak about the word singularly about what a community cross-pollination is.
I feel like in terms of, let's say, a run club and cross-pollination across it, it is with every single field. There's fashion, there's lifestyle, there's F&B. Every single thing plugs in with it very seamlessly.
So what it comes down to, simple thing is, what you wear to a run club, let's say, is fashion. I want to look cool. My demeanor needs to speak more about myself. Then it comes to coffee. People who love coffee and running go hand in hand. Similarly, music. What music you listen to, it's a cross-pollination between the communities. That's how you excite people to be a part of.
And also that's the main reason we're able to sustain and make money. You know, like running as a sport does not have money in it. There's so many plugins that you do and figure out. And with a community business, you have to be very, very smart about it. Okay, I'm getting the hang. Let's say the last thing. What I want to say is, I think everyone in our generation, irrespective of what your interests are, you need to put your phone down, you need to escape life and actually show up and meet people in real life. This can be at a run club, this can be at a chess club or any other place. And also just think about making that your lifestyle. You know, like you should wake up thinking that, wow, I'm excited to do this. So work is one thing, life is one thing, gaming is one thing, but I'm excited to go here where I know I'll be a little out of my comfort zone, but I'll meet new people. It'll be like a holistic growth experience for me.
The whole idea of us being here today was to tell people how building a community could be the greatest, let's say, business culturally forward thing in today's world. So again, I'll wrap up quickly on the cross-pollination for, let's say, a chess club. How do you make a chess club look cool, right? You host events on campus, you do fun things. I do not support drinking alcohol, but I've seen a lot of people do chess and beers together. People are going for screenings. So what it does is you build a lifestyle around it. I mean, in today's world, everybody keeps talking about building a brand, building a brand. What is a brand? A brand is something what attracts you, and that's why you want to be associated with it.
And also not just a product, right? You need to build a narrative around it. It needs to have a story. It needs to have an understanding of the real world. How does it play into my life?
What does a chess club sell? No, it's not selling chessboards. It could be selling the lifestyle, the ideology. And when somebody is so fond of that ideology, the business follows it through. So similarly, you need to keep innovating, keep getting exciting over stuff, and do not chase the end goal, but like again he said,
compound
over time, and believe in the community. And I feel, if from today when you go back home, I feel for everyone, just try to structure maybe your friends doing an activity and getting people, attract people towards communities, join communities, and try new things in life. And maybe that direction takes you forward somewhere.
I think the easiest step would be all of you show up to Bhag this weekend on Sunday at Nehru Park.
Yeah.
Yeah? I've gotten that. Thank you guys very much. Thank you.